What if the moment of maximum financial fear, the one that makes your stomach drop and your heart race, was secretly the moment of maximum opportunity? We've all seen it. The sea of red on the screen, news anchors speaking in somber tones about a market in freefall. The collective wisdom, the instinct screaming from every fiber of your being, is to protect what's left, to sell, to get out before it all goes to zero. But for a select few, this panic is a signal. Not an exit sign, but an entrance. They see something the rest of us don't. They see a system, a set of rules that can be used to turn a crisis into an advantage. This isn't about predicting the bottom or some mystical trading secret. It's about a mechanism, hidden in plain sight within the U.S. tax code, that allows you to legally convert market losses into a powerful financial shield. In this video, we are going to deconstruct this very strategy. We're not analyzing a fictional character, we're analyzing a playbook. We'll explore the psychology of fear that paralyzes most investors and the cold logic that allows others to thrive in it. Our goal is to answer a simple, yet profound question. How can you legally use the market's worst days to ensure you pay significantly less in taxes, potentially for years to come? The conventional wisdom is clear and simple. When the market tanks, you either hold on for dear life, white-knuckling your way through the storm, or you sell to stop the bleeding. For most people, selling feels like a failure, a painful admission of defeat. You bought an investment at $100, and now it's worth $70. Selling it locks in that $30 loss forever. It's a tangible, painful hit to your net worth. The stories we hear are about the people who held on, the ones who rode out the storm and were eventually made whole again. That's the heroic narrative. Holding is tough, but selling is a sin. That's the myth we're told. We see charts of past crashes, like the dot-com bubble or the 2008 financial crisis, and the lesson is always the same. It eventually comes back. So the idea of intentionally selling during a downturn sounds like pure insanity. It's like running back into a burning building. But if this is the only truth, then why do the most sophisticated financial minds seem to get so active when the markets are bleeding? What if the pain of that loss held a hidden value? What if locking it in wasn't an ending, but a transaction? This is our first crack in the foundation of the old wisdom. The loss isn't just a loss, it's something else entirely. To understand what's really happening, we need to analyze this through a specific tool the IRS provides: tax loss harvesting. Stripped of all jargon, it's a simple concept. When you sell an investment for a profit, you have a capital gain, and you owe taxes on that gain. Conversely, when you sell an investment for a loss, you have a capital loss. The government allows you to use those capital losses to cancel out your capital gains. If you have more losses than gains, you can even use up to $3,000 per year to reduce your regular income and carry forward any remaining losses indefinitely to use in future years. Think of it like a financial coupon, a voucher you get for making a bad investment call. Now let's re-examine that moment of panic. Your stock is down 30%. The average person sees a $30 loss per share. But with this new lens, you see a $30 loss and a valuable tax asset you just created. You've harvested that loss. The very act of selling, which felt like a surrender, was actually the strategic move. The loss itself becomes a tool. It's no longer just a failure, it's ammunition you can use to shield future profits from taxes. This is our first major revelation. What looks like weakness, selling a loser, is actually a calculated move to gain a future advantage. Now, if this strategy works for a small dip, what happens when we face the abyss? Let's take the COVID crash of March 2020. In a matter of weeks, the market plunged over 30%. This wasn't a dip, it was a nosedive. This is where theory meets brutal reality. For an investor following this playbook, this catastrophic event wasn't a reason to abandon the strategy. It was the single greatest opportunity to execute it on a massive scale. While everyone else was frozen in fear, watching their life savings evaporate on paper, this investor was systematically selling their losing positions. Not in a panic, but with purpose. A portfolio that was down $100,000 on paper didn't just represent a terrifying loss. It represented a $100,000 tax deduction that could be used to offset gains for potentially decades. The power of the strategy amplifies with the size of the crash. The more chaos in the market, the more powerful the tool becomes. But this raises the most critical question of all. You just sold at the bottom. You locked in a massive loss to get a tax break. Haven't you just committed the cardinal sin of investing? To answer that, we have to understand the rule that makes this whole thing work. It's crucial to acknowledge the feeling in your gut right now. It feels wrong. It goes against every instinct to sell when assets are cheap and to intentionally realize a loss. We are wired to avoid pain, and selling a loser is painful. But history provides the context that transforms this from a reckless act into a logical one. Look at every major market crash in modern American history. 1987, 2000, 2008, 2020. Each one felt like the end of the world at the time. Yet, each was followed by a recovery that was often just as swift and dramatic as the preceding fall. The strategy of tax loss harvesting isn't built on the hope that the market won't crash. It's built on the historical certainty that, eventually, it recovers. By understanding this, you shift your perspective. You're not just betting on a single stock. You're leveraging a fundamental pattern of the entire economic system. You are using the temporary chaos to create a permanent tax advantage, all while anticipating the eventual return to growth. This emotional and historical reframing is key. You're not a victim of the crash. You're a student of its cycles. But I know what you're thinking. This is a shell game. You sell low, and then you have to wait to buy back in, probably missing the rebound. It's just timing the market with extra steps. This is the most important counter-argument, and it's where the true genius of the strategy lies. The IRS has a rule for this called the wash sale rule. It states that you cannot claim a tax loss for selling an investment if you buy a substantially identical one within 30 days before or after the sale. This rule seems to shut the whole strategy down, but the key phrase is substantially identical. You can T-sell your shares of the Coca-Cola Company and immediately buy back shares of the Coca-Cola Company, but you can sell your shares of Coca-Cola and immediately buy shares of Pepsi. You've sold your position in a large-cap U.S. beverage company and immediately bought another large-cap U.S. beverage company. More effectively, you can sell an S&P 500 index fund from one provider, like Vanguard's VOO, and immediately buy an S&P 500 index fund from another provider, like iShares IVV. They are not substantially identical in the eyes of the IRS, but they track the exact same index. This is the second and most powerful aha moment. You capture the tax loss without ever leaving the market. Your money is out of the market for less than a second. The appearance is that you sold at the bottom. The truth is that you swapped one asset for a nearly identical one, remaining fully invested to capture the entire rebound, all while pocketing a massive tax deduction. So let's assemble the complete mosaic. A market crash begins. Fear and panic grip the majority of investors. But instead of freezing, you act. You systematically sell investments that are showing a paper loss. With each sale, you are harvesting a capital loss, a future tax credit. Then, in the very next second, you use that same cash to buy a similar but not identical investment. You have maintained your exact exposure to the market, ensuring you don't miss a single day of the eventual recovery. The market eventually turns around, as it has throughout history. Your new investments grow, and when you eventually sell them for a profit years down the line, you have a stockpile of harvested losses from the crash ready to cancel out those gains. The moment of maximum fear was transformed into a multi-year, or even multi-decade tax shield. The breaking point wasn't in the market. It was in the mind of the investor. The decision to override emotional instinct with cold, systematic logic. Now that we understand the machine that converts market fear into a tax shield, what does this mean for the end game? How does this one strategy, repeated over time, fundamentally alter the path to financial freedom? The final answer is where simple tax avoidance transforms into generational wealth.